Now, a majority of Filipinos support the passage of a law banning political dynasties, according to a recent Pulse Asia survey. The poll shows 54% of adults nationwide agree that Congress should immediately pass an anti-political dynasty law. 27% are undecided, while 18% disagree. Support is strongest in Metro Manila, where 69% back the proposed ban. And the survey comes as lawmakers in the House and Senate continue to file various versions of an anti-political dynasty bill. And joining us this morning is Dennis Coronacion, political analyst and professor of political science at the University of Santo Tomas. Good morning, Professor, and thank you for being here on the program.
Hi, good morning, Pauline. Good morning also to all your viewers.
Okay, so Professor, let's start with the numbers. The Pulse Asia survey shows that 54% of Filipinos agree that Congress should pass this bill banning political dynasties. But from your perspective, Professor, what do the numbers really tell us about the public sentiment right now?
Well, for one, it tells us that at least the proposed anti-dynasty measure has gained the support of the majority of the Filipinos. But on the other hand, if we're going to look at it in a different way, it also means that the Filipinos are divided on the proposed measure. So some of them remain undecided about the viability of this measure as a solution to the, ongoing corruption problem, while others think that this is not probably this is not the right solution. For the problem.
Professor, before we go to the undecided, going back to the 54%, some say that it's a small majority, right? So, but is it enough? Is it significant enough to be considered a strong and clear signal from the public that our lawmakers should push for this anti-political dynasty bill?
Oh, yes, definitely. It sends a strong signal, that percentage I think is enough to send a strong signal to our lawmakers that they should push through with the bill. Makita natin na 5 out of 10 Filipinos strongly support this proposed measure. And they do believe that this is going to be the right solution to the ongoing problem of corruption. Tingin nila kasi there are short-term solutions, yung mga masasabi natin low-lying fruits, yung mga reforms that can easily be done, and there are reforms that would require a lot of time. And itong anti-political dynasty bill na to is one of those measures that would require a much longer time to be able to enact to get enacted.
And the strongest support, Professor, is coming from Metro Manila with a 69%, followed by the rest of Luzon and Visayas. Why do you think, Prof, na the support is strongest in Metro Manila? How would you assess that geographic pattern?
Probably because that's Metro Manila is the place where majority of the Filipinos are most aware about what's happening in the country. Kung ano may mga political issues sa bansa natin, yung karamihan ng mga Pilipino na politically aware ay nandito sa Metro Manila. And to think that this is also the political capital of the country. So nakasubaybay yung mga Pilipino, and even yung mga investigations na nangyayari in the Senate and in the House, dito rin nangyayari. So even though masasabi natin na sa Bulacan yung nag-umpisa yung focal point ng investigation about the flood control projects, pero yung mga Pilipino na parating nakamasid at nagiging vigilant ay dito, mostly sa Metro Manila.
But on the flip side, Professor, in Mindanao, that's where the opposition or resistance is highest, with 18% opposing this measure for an anti-political dynasty law. What factors do you think are fueling that resistance in Mindanao?
Actually, it goes to show that Filipinos have diverse experiences with regard to political dynasties. Some may look at the dynasties based on the ongoing issue about corruption, while others would base their judgment or evaluation of the dynasties based on their personal encounters. So siguro sa mga probinsya kagaya sa Mindanao, ang tingin ng mga tao doon na mga dynasties ay nakakatulong sa kanilang mga pang-araw-araw na problema. Samantalang sa Metro Manila naman, negative or critical yung pananaw sa dynasties because of the corruption issue. They're being blamed for as the ones who have perpetrated this issue regarding the flood control projects. Pero pag sa probinsya, hindi sila very much in tune doon sa mga nangyayaring issues dito sa Metro Manila. Kaya they have a different perspective. And sometimes their perspective is based on their personal encounters with our politicians. So every time that they would need something from the government, they find it easier to get access to state resources, o kaya kung kailangan nila ng tulong, tingin nila mas madaling lumapit sa mga politiko ng mga miyembro ng mga dynasties. So it only goes to show that Filipinos have diverse experiences with regard to political dynasties.
And that could also explain why napaka-potent pa rin ang ilang political names or political brands, no, Professor, when it comes to political dynasties. But going back to the undecided, they are now at 27%. For you, Professor, does that mean people are unsure about opposing political dynasties, or is it also somewhat fatigue na rin of hearing reforms that don't really get legislated? Kasi matagal na po natin pinag-uusapan itong anti-political dynasty bill.
Yeah, matagal na nga pinag-uusapan, pero I think siguro since the 1987 Constitution was ratified, maraming beses na ito napag-usapan. But this is the only time that the issue has really resonated with the people. Talagang kumagaman tumatak sa isipan nila. And I think that some Filipinos, yung 27% na yun, are still, kumagaman, they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know kung ano ang dapat na position nila with regard to that issue. Probably because this is something new to them. Maaring lumang issue na siya, pero bilang isang usapin na malawakang usapin na political issue, parang this is the first time na nangyari ito, no, na pinag-usapan ng ganito katindi yung proposal na iban na mga political dynasties sa iba't ibang sangay ng ating pamahalaan.
Why do you think it's resonating really well with the public, with Filipinos right now, Professor? No? We know we have the flood control investigations, but why are they correlating this with political dynasties?
Because this is being presented to the Filipinos as a viable solution to address the root of one of the root causes of corruption in the country. So in fact, yung administration ang unang nag-bring up nito, no, na this could be a possible solution, a long-term solution to one of the root causes of corruption. So, and the people are, well, yung mga nasa Metro Manila, they do believe that this kind of reform is going to address the problem of corruption. But for the Filipinos outside Metro Manila, parang hindi pa sila sigurado kung ito nga ay magiging viable solution. So that's why I think much effort should be done by the lawmakers as well as the advocates of the anti-dynasty bill to educate the Filipino public regarding the possible advantages and the positive effects of if this kind of reform is going to get enacted.
So for you, Professor, with public opinion now tilting towards reforms, 54% saying they support an anti-political dynasty law, is the timing right? And realistically, can we expect our lawmakers to actually act on this clamor from the public and legislate something that might go against their own interests?
I think the timing is perfect if we're going to think about the previous how long we have been waiting for this kind of reform to be introduced into our political system. Since 1987, we have been waiting for this enabling law, and yet nothing has happened. So I think with our politicians, feeling the pressure coming from the public because of the corruption issue related to the flood control projects, I think the timing is perfect, to introduce this bill and to push for this bill. Um, I'm sorry, what's your other question?
If we can, realistically, we can expect lawmakers to legislate something, Professor, that will go against their own interests.
Oh yeah, that's a different matter, kasi we might have the momentum in terms of the timing. Kaya nga lang, in terms of the support that would be given by our lawmakers, that remains a big question mark, Hindi natin alam to what extent our lawmakers are going to support this. However, siguro, if we're going to compare, the two versions of the anti-dynasty bill, the one is being pushed for by Speaker Boji D, and that seems to be a compromise or a sabihin na natin na realistic or diluted anti-dynasty bill. On the other hand, meron naman yung version ng progressive bloc, yung Makabayan bloc, na ay very ideal. Kumbaga man, I think ito yung version na makaka-realize ng goal at saka yung vision ng 1987 Constitution with regard to the dynasties. Between the two, tingin ko yung mga lawmakers natin, majority of whom are members of political dynasties, if they would be given a choice, they would probably, or they would tend to support the one that's being pushed for by the speaker. O kasi yun, at least andun pa rin, marami pa rin pwedeng tumakbo sa kanilang mga angkan, kaya nga lang limited na. On the other hand, doon naman sa isang version, yung version ng Makabayan bloc, yung talaga, I think, isa lang ang pwedeng tumakbo sa isang pamilya. So, if mas acceptable, tingin ko mas acceptable para sa mga lawmakers natin, yung version ni House Speaker Boji D.
Just for the benefit of our viewers, Professor, yung version ni Speaker Boji D is up to what degree ng consanguinity? Hanggang second po ba yun?
I think,
Kasi yung sa
not
progressive
very-
hanggang fourth.
Oo, yung hanggang fourth. I'm not sure about that specific detail, Pero ang essence kasi nung kanyang version is that may papayagan lamang magkaroon ng isang miyembro sa jurisdiction, depende sa jurisdiction. Kumbaga may clustering na mangyayari. Like for the LGUs, halimbawa, limited lang yung mga members, and sa national government, limited lang din yung mga members ng isang dynasty na pwedeng umupo o tumakbo.
But at the same time, Professor, you have President Marcos Jr., Malacanang, calling on Congress to prioritize this measure, right? Sinabi po ng Presidente, prioritize nyo yung anti-political dynasty bill. But for you, is this a sincere messaging from President Marcos, or is it more symbolic than it is substantive?
Well, I think since there is a better there's a better way of urging the members of Congress to enact this bill, to pass this bill. Think ko this is more of a symbolic type of kumbaga man reform coming from the president, if ever the president is supporting this, kasi the other path should be or should have been the president certifying this as an urgent bill. Oo. Although debatable yan because some are saying na I think under our laws, for a bill to be certified, there should be certain requirements. So nagde-debate sila regarding that one. Pero if that's the path that the president is going to take, makikita mo that the president is really very serious, in enacting this proposed measure. Pero yung kasalukuyan kasi na nag-urge lang, parang parang lip service lang to. And ang pwede maging dito optics is that the president is merely playing with the emotions of the people na gusto magkaroon ng reforma at saka in connection with the corruption problem. magkaroon ng transparency and accountability. So far I think that's the opinion of that's how people view the president's action with regard to this proposed measure.
Especially during a time where we're really looking for concrete solutions from the government on how to solve this corruption scandal. But lastly, Professor, so nandiyan na po ang public pressure, pero ang tanong, di ba, is there enough political will? And so if this this bill has yet to pass, has yet to be legislated, and nothing comes out of this strong public pressure, how should voters interpret that, and what should they remember going into the next election cycle?
Well, definitely it's going to leave a mark on the president's legacy because his exposure during his last SONA generated a lot of expectation coming from the public that he's really bent on undertaking reforms to address the corruption issue. Kaya nga lang if half-hearted yung kanyang mga initiatives, people would judge him as a mediocre president by the time that he steps down in 2028. So the people should really be should remain vigilant and should use the 2028 elections to be able to screen those candidates who really who can sustain the momentum that was created by PBBM, yung reforms na hinahanap-hanap ng mga tao. So sino ba yung mga kandidato na very willing na ituloy yun? Kung hindi kaya ng kasalukuyang Pangulo, sino kaya ang pwedeng magpatuloy na to? At seryoso sa kanyang hangarin na magkaroon talaga ng political reforms gearing towards transparency and accountability.
All right. Well, thank you very much for sharing all your insights, and Happy New Year to you. That was Professor Dennis Coronacion, political analyst from the Political Science Department of the University of Santo Tomas.